Hello, dear ones. Welcome to the Indigo Rose Lounge. I am your host, Alyce Dylan, author of Alone in a Sea of Normal. And you are at the Indigo Rose Lounge, which is a space that I charge and send power and prayer and upliftment to. And if you like, when you're in the space, you can receive whatever is here for you. Well, you can, and your people can. Your fairies, that I call fairies, are people in the next world who guide your steps, people call them a lot of different things. Today, I wanted to discuss some news that somebody sent me. Let me read it to you. So this is from X, and this is a poster called Defiant Ghost. And according to Defiant Ghost, according to declassified documents from Project Stargate, doesn't that sound like something out of Hollywood? But anyway, the CIA confirmed humans possess powerful latent abilities, including OBE, out-of-body experiences, transcending space and time, self-healing and altering physical reality, manifesting thoughts into existence, remote viewing, precognition and clairvoyance, psychokinesis, and telepathy. All of these are unlocked simply by tapping into higher states of consciousness. So, that's not the news. We, of course, know that news. We know that those things are possible and lots more. I mean, those are just the tip of the iceberg thing. The news, from my perspective, is this isn't like a yesterday discovery from the CIA. This is declassified documents from the CIA. So we know that stuff that's being declassified is, 10 or 20 years old at this point. So at least for the last 10 or 20 years, that's kind of proof, right? That officially you and I and all of our fellow indigos, all of us beautiful, shining, suffering souls have been known about. The fact that that humans in general possess the ability to do these things. Just if anyone's kind of tuning in more recently, indigo refers to someone who's born with all of these facilities, all of these faculties turned on and up. But anybody can develop their spiritual perception later in life. This is not a thing that only certain people can do. 5 sense people, the normies, have the capacity. Or at least, I don't know that for sure anymore. What I know for sure, is that before 5 to 10 years ago they did. I don't know, like a lot of us, I don't know about the long-term effects of the jab. I know that does affect the connective ability. I don't know how easy that will be to clear. So one hopes that whatever damage is done there is reversible and we can get back to organic numbers. Our organic numbers before that event were 40 to 60% of the population, and the white coats were only admitting to 25%. But here's the other perspective. So we know that the military-industrial complex has known about this for, let's be generous. Let's just say they've known about it for 20 years. That's not true, because they knew about it in World War II, because the Nazis were all very crazy about it, and they would have known about it from Operation Paperclip. But let's just say that for the last 20 years, they've known about that. And then on the other side of the veil, out of the realm of secrecy, the white coats have been running around calling us in the same space of time in the last 20 years. We've gone from being extrasensory or sixth-sensed to neurodivergent, which I don't care what you know about that word. When the normies say it, it means they're a bit special now. They're a bit like special, like shame. So we've been getting this not so yummy, not so yay label, and then that would be one thing if it was on its own, but it comes with medication that's supposed to fit you back into the normie trench. So isn't that a dichotomy? So for all these years, The military-industrial complex has known about the capacity of the human experience to do all of these things, and yet on the other side, the white coats have been running around calling us special and medicating us. How does that fit into the same line? I'm not arguing, I'm not fighting about this. I'm being curious. I'm being curious about it. What I know for sure is that the powers that be, the shiny buns, I call them, if you want to call them, it does not serve their global agenda for us to be running around. It doesn't help them for us to be able to manifest worlds that we want and to manifest realities that we want, because they want to control everything, including what we can manifest and not. And if I was to guess, I would say that they're probably behind the fluoride in all the water and whatnot. Don't take my word for it. This is an investigation on its own. But I think then that us being around doesn't serve their overall agenda. And that's interesting because, little old shiny us, are we a threat to anybody? Or we want love and light and kindness and all of those things? And maybe that'll give you some insight into how powerful we potentially are, especially if we work together. But as much as we don't serve their agenda and they really wanted to shove us in the bottom drawer, the military-industrial complex wasn't going to ignore us if it would give them an advantage on the battlefield or in a war-like setting. So isn't that interesting? Hey, lovelies? Isn't that interesting? And then you're sitting there as an empath saying, but I'm just an empath. Sweetie darling, it is the same faculty. Whether you're empathic, whether you're just sensitive, whether you just have heightened sensitivity, it's all about your connection with your spirit self, that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and that the human experience itself is limited to its 5 senses. But the moment you are reaching into frequencies high enough to connect with your spirit self in real time, and the moment you're able to shift your awareness up into your spirit self and back down, now you're a spiritually perceptive individual. Now you can know yourself as an eternal spiritual being, having a temporary human experience. And one of the first signals of that is, just clairsentience. Clairsentience is what a lot of people call intuition. It's just a knowing. It's I know that there's something wrong here, or I know there's something right here. Clairsentience. And I think all of the empaths would admit that they are clairsentient as well. Empathic is simply the ability to pick up and translate what's going on around you. Somebody asked the other day, what do you think the general perception of, what is the general feeling of the world right now? And that's an interesting one. I have pretty good shields, and I keep them up most of the time, unless I'm looking for something. And I've trained my reach to go up rather than sideways. Let me explain that. So as I'm sitting here, there's me and my human physical reality, and I'm at one frequency. And up frequency from me feels like up. So up frequency. So if I'm reaching for something, I'm reaching up frequency. So up to my spirit self, up to my peeps, my fairies. And so when I extend, when I check in, or when I extend my awareness, I have trained myself quite well to go up rather than out. Yeah? Because out is full of others, other peeps, other people. But the other day I thought I'd do a little sniff test and see how the world's doing, at least my area, my region, my vicinity. And it was over the Easter weekend. And and I just found mass drunkenness myself. Lots and lots. Is that happening in your part of the world? Lots and lots of drunkenness. which is fairly disparaging because it's an indication of fear and confusion and loss and addiction and unhealth, dishealth. So certainly not a lot of yay and yummy and ooh. So yeah, there's a lot to be done. But there it is, lovelies. Of the CIA classified documents themselves, they've known about our existence for a while. They did nothing with that information, and I think that's why the little rebel in me doesn't want to have anything to do with formalized society, the white coats, or any of them, because I know they've had this information since World War II. And rather taking this information and nurturing humanity with it and creating at least awareness with white coats about this new breed of humanity and these newly evolving abilities, instead of doing that and being nurturing and kind with the information, instead they parked the information in the military industrial complex and profited off medications for the rest of us neurodivergents. I think it's also why, just for me, I won't wear labels. I won't wear their labels because they have no right to label me. Thank you very much. I figured this out. I'm going to decide who and what I am. And I think that's healthy. I would really encourage you to decide for yourself who and what you are and let yourself be the judge, because truly you are the only person, well, you and your supportive peeps, those that love you, are the only people who are truly going to have your best interests, your individual best interests at heart, and not the white coats or the military industrial complex or any of those. So they have known about us. They do know we're out here. And they didn't create a cushion for us, even knowing that we were. So I think, and that's not a victim thought. That's like, okay, that's the reality. That is what it is. Fine. From now on, we take care of our own. And so that's why I'm out here. I'm out here, lovely ones, just to throw my voice out into the world to say, HSP, empath, sensitive, whoever you are, someone out here knows what it is to be you and also isn't willing to make that mean or allow that to mean that we are babies of aliens or even fallen angels. I just know what we are, and what we are is blessed. We have these marvelous abilities. We have no idea where they'll go, and it's okay to be that. It's all right. We've chosen to be here on the leading edge of the evolution of mankind, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. There are tools, there are strategies. We have to come up with whole new ways of dealing with the world out there. And one of the best ways, remember, to deal with all the noise is to pivot. So in looking at something like this, yeah, the CIA knew, the white coats knew, they chose to do that. All right, let's not get bogged down there. Let's say, what is it that we want? What we want, I think I can speak for a lot of us, is to know that future generations of indigo children or awakened, sixth sensed or spiritually perceptive children have access to supportive environments and supportive systems that will help them not feel like they are alone and not feel like they are abhorrent, and have warm, nurturing, accepting frameworks in place to support and nurture and help future generations. Anyway, that's what I hope. And I think a lot of you will be with me in that. So we need to focus there. We need to focus on this is what we want. Remember, attention is a very valuable thing. So the more attention we spend, we focus on something, the more we enhance it. So something like this post, this CIA disclosure document, whatever, I can look at it, I can know that it's there. But instead of sitting there and staring at it for a whole bunch of time and focusing a whole bunch of attention on the wrongness of what that unveils, I pivot. I say, okay, that's what happened. It's not optimal. It's not great. What do I want instead? What do we want instead, lovelies? We want kind, nurturing, supportive environments. Perhaps even in each town have 3 or 4 indigos that have made it past 25 who work towards nurturing new, upcoming, sixth-sensed, spiritually perceptive individuals. What do you think? What is it that you want to see for the next generation of indigo children? Hey, what can we do to make that a reality? And the first thing that we can do is to make sure that we are the strong, healed, healthy, and whole indigo adults or spiritually perceptive adults so that we can make a meaningful contribution out in the world. And of course, we can love always.